This is FYI on your TV, brought to you by Hometown News. I'm Kathy Botham. I have got Mike Blouin with me. You're from the Kemptville area?
That's right.
Originally too, or?
No, born and bred in Ottawa, but we've been living in Kemptville for, 15 years now.
Now, something pretty exciting happened yesterday, but we'll lead into that. But you're an author.
I am.
So let's talk a little bit about your history of your writings. You have how many books?
6 books published now, traditionally published books, and 4 more on the way.
All right, all right. Is this something that you've always done? Is it something it's...
I've been writing probably since I was 17, and yeah, it took a while. Persistence is key in publishing, especially, and it took a while to get my first book published, but then it went on to be nominated for the Amazon First Novel Award, won Best Novel in Canada, and then I won that again, and there's been a lot that's happened since then. So it took a long time to get going, but once we started publishing, things.
Okay, and that book that you won, Chase and Haven, is that the one?
Chase and Haven was the first to win Best Novel in Canada, yep. And Skin House, the book that we're going to talk about, also won that same award in 2020.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, now the book Skin House is in space.
It is in space as we speak. It's thousands of kilometers over our heads, which is mind-blowing to me. I've been a space nerd and a space fan all my life. Watched the Apollo landing in 1970 as a 10-year-old boy and dreamt of being an astronaut. So now to have, when you're a writer, Kathy, you dream of where your novel's going to go in the world and who's going to read it and what will happen to it. But to imagine that, it's going to go beyond our world is not something you really think about. So I've been tremendously fortunate.
And how did that come to be?
It's a complicated story. It happened at the beginning of the pandemic. And also, congruently, at the beginning of the pandemic, our house suffered a major house fire. So we were, I wouldn't use the term homeless, but we were without a home as lockdown began. And we found ourselves living with our son and his wife in North Augusta. And it's wonderful to live with your son and his wife, but at the same time, as a man in my 60s, that's not really your trajectory that you imagine. So I was not in the best of mental, I just wasn't as happy as I normally am, given the condition. And then I found out that I had, with everything that was going on, I had missed by 12 hours the opportunity to be involved in this project. And there was no going back. There was no way. It was too late. And then a good friend of mine, a writer from Newfoundland, Carolyn R. Parsons, contacted me that same day and said, "Mike, it turns out that I have extra space allotted, and I have nothing else to send. Would you like to send your book with me?" And I said, "Yes, please, I would."
Wow.
And subsequent to that, the director of the Lunar Codex, which is the overall umbrella project that does this, has invited me on 2 further missions. So it's been terrific.
And literally, your book went in a spaceship yesterday. It blasted off at NASA
At Cape Canaveral, yeah.
And went into space.
Went into space, and I watched it live. My original plan was to be at Cape Canaveral, so the launch had been projected for Christmas Eve, and with a new grandchild, I'm not going to Florida Christmas Eve. And then it was moved to January 8th, and I couldn't make that happen. So I'll go to the next one, but this one I was able to watch live on television, yeah.
I mean, every launch, too, it's depending on the weather and
they have such narrow
technology.
launch windows, and it's dependent on weather and the technology, and it's not like driving to Smith Falls. If you start to lose tire pressure, you can stop and fill it up, but if you have a problem in space, it's a problem.
There's no gas stations to pull into.
That's right.
For sure, for sure. Now, there's 2 other launches going this year, too, and your books are going to be on there as well.
Yes, so the Serenity mission is the first one in August, and it's got a very interesting technology that I failed high school science numerous times, so I can't really fully articulate this technology, but it's gone. The transcription of the books is at such a technical level that they project that that they will last for 1 billion years. That's 1 billion with a B, not million with an N, which is just, it's a number that doesn't even make sense to me. But so theoretically, we were talking about what an author dreams of. My words will last theoretically beyond life on this planet, which is mind-staggering.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, when we talk about the spaceships going up there, they land on the moon and they stay on the moon?
That's correct. So I should point out too that as exciting as it is for me, And I hope for people in the area to know that books that are coming from here will end up on the moon. As exciting as that is, it's not the primary mission of the mission itself. There's a lot of science going on to this, and a primary goal for all of these missions is NASA preparing for its Artemis mission, which is to actually bring people back to the moon, and then to go from there to Mars. So there's a lot of scientific experiments on these missions so the lander stays there, and those scientific experiments keep going robotically from Earth.
Wow, it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
It
Now, the book Skin House,
Mm-hmm.
it's the one that's on.
That's right.
This the
This
one
is
that
the one that's up there
it's
right now.
now. Is it Billy the Kid that's going up
And
the next
Billy
time?
the Kid will be joining it on the next 2 missions, so both books will be. So we should mention, Skin House takes place in Kemptville. It's a fictionalized Kemptville. People tell me that I haven't mentioned any specific places by name in Kemptville, but readers tell me that if they live in Kemptville, they can recognize everything. And Billy the Kid takes place, a good chunk of it takes place in Lanark County.
Oh,
It's a kind of a feminist reimagined Western, and it imagines that Billy the Kid faked his own death and then traveled to Canada to live for the rest of his life.
oh, any specifics in Lanark County? Any?
Yes,
would-
people, because it takes place in the late 1800s, there are specifics for Lanark County. Lanark itself is mentioned, but the specifics are from 120 years ago. So
Okay, now where do you get these ideas from?
I wish I knew, because it'd be easier that way, Kathy, to get the next book going. Billy the Kid is an exception, actually. I walked into the shower one morning before going to work, and the phrase, "I am Billy the Kid," popped into my head. And I immediately thought, that's a novel.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen in it, but probably going to involve Billy the Kid somehow. Novels are hard. It's 7 years later I had the finished novel.
Wow. And I mean, I was sort of joking around that I still do the written word and everything, and you do. You carry a notebook.
I do too. I have it right here. This is how novels get written by me anyway. They get jotted down into things like this, and then put into various electronic.
Yeah, well, you have an
systems.
idea, you have to write it down.
Exactly.
That's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
right.
And I used to put it on my phone, and I just find that hand-eye connection. There's something different about that.
Absolutely. No, there's something to be said. We're old school for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. So where do we watch the next?
It will be broadcast live on. If you want to join me, we can. I'm driving down.
Oh,
For this
really?
one,
You're
I'll
going
be
for
at
this one.
Cape Canaveral for the next launch, but it will be on the NASA channel, which any smart TV, you can download the NASA
Oh, my
app,
daughter,
and
my
there
goodness,
it
yes,
is.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
what I was doing on Sunday night. I was a 75-inch TV, and I was about this far away from it, just glued to it.
So when you're going down for the next one, you must have to make a bit of a commitment, because you could be a couple of days, weeks before it
Yeah.
actually goes.
And that's why I'm looking forward to August. The travel will be easy, and
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, and you have to if it's there's I think the next mission has, say, a 4 or 5 day window, so it could go the first day, it could go the second or the third, or
All right, and then there's another date as well.
and then November, also on the 24th, November 24th is so August is the Serenity mission, and November is the Polaris mission, and its primary goal is to land at the south pole of the moon, because it's strongly believed that there are water reserves at the south pole of the moon.
Wow.
And that's tremendously significant in a number of ways, scientifically and in terms of space exploration. And so the goal of that mission is to establish whether or not there is water there, because they strongly believe there is, and then to test it and find out what kind of water it is. And
Oh, wow. Now, can before we started taping, you told me that's something you want to say to your grandson someday. Can you tell the folks what you told me?
I'm recently fortunate enough to have my first grandson, Theodore. And that's kind of, as much as I'm excited about my books being on the moon and in space in general, someday I'll be able to stand next to my grandson and point up in the moon and say, "Pop's book is up there." And I'm looking forward to that.
That's pretty special. That's pretty special. Now, most of us can't get to the moon to get your book, but where can we get your book?
You can get it
Books,
anywhere.
I
If
should
you
say.
can't get to the moon, you can get anywhere that books are. So probably the best place right now is you can just order it online from Indigo. or Amazon. Amazon, because I think there's a lot of interest. People are fascinated by the moon, so Amazon is currently sold out of both books, but they'll be back in stock next week. Probably by the time this airs, they'll be back in stock. But Indigo online is a great place. You can go into Chapters or Indigo and just order it. Or you can order it directly from the publisher, which is Anvil Press out of Vancouver, and sometimes you can find it in the backseat of my car, but not today.
When did you know that your book was going into space?
Space is, as I say, space is a long process, so 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
It's been 4 years. There's been quite a number of launch windows that have been missed due to technical reasons and due to weather, so yeah, 4 years.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's glad to see it finally happen in fruition for you. So we've got 2 more launches. Again, the dates?
Yeah, August 24th and November 24th.
And we can get your books in the meantime.
You can get your books in the meantime, have them read, and you can know what parts of Lanark and Kemptville are headed for the moon.
That's always interesting when people write some books about the local area and everything like that too. So look forward to reading your books.
Great.
Thank you very much for coming here
Thank
from
you,
Kemptville
Kathy.
today. Michael Blouin, author of Skin House, Billy the Kid, a few more novels as well.
Lots more.
But yeah, you've got your book up in space too. Thank you very much for coming. I just contacted you yesterday and you made this work, so thank you so much.
Hey, well, traveling to space, traveling to Smith Falls, no problem.
Yes. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Kathy.